Some of you have asked if Mr. Wooding will make a brief appearance in today's story. I don't get it. A brief appearance? Why would you even want to see Jerry in his underwear? He does get a couple of mentions, but we've had to wean ourselves from his guidance this year. So I hope you won't mind if another faculty hero steps up into the solo role, and if some seniors step up a little bit too. And my usual disclaimer, people's names are part of their identities. I apologize for mispronunciations and distortions, but I do trust and hope that you all recognize the spirit of fun and camaraderie behind the story. The senior class was in a tizzy. Now, before you ask how the entire senior class could fit into one of those old Model T cars, I should clarify that I said tizzy, not Tin Lizzy, and that a tizzy is not a gas-powered vehicle, but a state of nervous confusion. In other words, the seniors were all agitated, and the reason was simple. Beloved ornithology teacher Jerry Wooding retired last year, and the seniors feared that no one would be available to lead this year's senior bird walk. Well, Johnny said, when most of the seniors had gathered on the football field to discuss the dilemma, maybe we could find an old lamp and rub it, and then, in a cloud of smoke, out would come a mangini. Oh, come on, Caroline said. A magical solution like that is definitely putting the cart before the horse. It is, Rowan said, like trying to Callahan a rooster. Yeah. Get realistic, Thomas replied. That idea is barren of any merit. Now, what do you think, Selena? You have a creative mind. In this case, Selena replied, I just don't know the answer. Another senior spoke then. This problem could go even deeper than we think, Allie said. It could be just the tip of the Feinberg. At that moment, Mr. Johnson appeared, and the seniors began to cheer. They knew that as a math teacher, he was somebody they could count on. Hi, everybody, Mr. J said. Kyle, how's you doing? Fine, Kyle responded. How's by you? I'm just great, the personable educator replied. But I understand you guys are worried about this year's bird walk. Why don't we head down to the cow pond and talk about the situation there? Oh, Mr. J, I'm not sure I want to go down by the cow pond, Tanner said. The water is always so dark and murphy there. Tanner, the concerned teacher, replied, I think you mean dark and murky. Oh, yeah, Tanner said, I probably do. Can we get some refreshments first? Lori asked. I'm just dying for a burger. I'd like a snack too, said Jackie, but I don't have a lot of dough on me right now. Yeah, another girl said, I'll be in trouble, Grace continued, if they charge an arm and a ligand or maybe even another body part. That's okay, Chase said. If the food costs too much, I can share my fig Newtons. I could go for some fruit, another senior added. You know, some mangoes and bananas, and Janelle continued, persimmons? Okay. No more fruit jokes, sorry. I'd like something to drink, someone else said. You know, Lewis continued, a cappuccino or a yaote or something like that. I want an ice cream sundae with Moose Tracks ice cream and fudge sauce and whipped cream, Nick said. Oh, and oh yeah, one of those Guarachina cherries on top. What time is it? Asked Claire. Is Johnson's open yet? What? Ollie said. Which Johnson are you talking about? I'm always open. Now wait. Wait, Mr. J said, chuckling. Don't go running off and violating the sign-out rule. I thought you all might be hungry, so I asked his Lombeck to set up the grill down by the cow pond. Oh, great. I can help him start it up, Jason blurted. I'll get my kerosene. Careful, Morgan said. We don't want it to get Brennan too hot. Francesca joined in. Maybe we should get some branches to serve as Kiesling. Ooh, Mr. Johnson corrected her gently. I think the word is kindling, Francesca. Well, whatever the proper word is, Kiana said, I'll supply the hackshaw. Good, Jeff said. We can use it to cut some Kirkwood. Yeah, Sam said, and we can stack the logs in a circle and create our own wood ring. Nearby, Sabina and Shannon were sitting on the ground, sharing a typewritten manuscript and scouring through it with intense intellectual interest. Hey guys, Mr. J said, walking toward them, what's that you're reading? It's a novel we've co-written, Sabina said, and we think it'll be the great American novel, even greater than The Great Gatsby. Oh, The Great Gatsby's pretty great, the bearded math guru said. What's your book called? Don't tell me you named it The Greater Gatsby. Sabina looked at Shannon, who replied, clearing her throat, no, Mr. J. We call it The Adventures of Huckleberry Johnsonfin. Good title, the chuckling number juggler said. That's even better than The Greater Gatsby, if that's even possible. Say, why don't we all head down toward the grill and talk about our options for this year's bird walk? Claire interrupted again. Does anybody really know what time it is? Does anybody really care? The rest of the seniors ignored her, apparently thinking she was just reciting old song lyrics. Then Claire turned to Peter. What do you think, Peter? Am I just a voice crying out in the Vander wilderness? Why can't anyone hear me? Why won't they answer my question? I'm sorry, Peter said, taking out his earbuds. Were you talking to me? Claire threw up her arms in frustration and walked off to find the barbecue. On the way, she passed Olivia, who was shaking her cell phone in incomparable frustration. What's wrong, Olivia? Claire asked. Well, I wanted to report on this event for the Spectrum, Olivia replied. But I don't seem to have the necessary connectivity. Oh, come on, Mr. Merkles, how about a laugh for that? Just then Mackenzie ran past and she shouted, you wouldn't have that problem if you had a Mac. This is so frustrating, Claire said with uncharacteristic petulance. Why won't anyone tell me the time? I'm starting to get really angry. Calm down, Kendra said as she walked past. Can't you control your temper? Are you suffering from Tourette syndrome? Laura, as she too walked past, said, oh, maybe she's just ADHD. What's that, Claire asked? Oh, look at that beautiful butterfly. After a moment, however, she continued to walk toward the cow pond, and as she got closer, she noticed Caitlin hobbling along, favoring one leg. Oh no, Caitlin, she said, what happened to you? Well, the other girl said, last winter I had an accident when a horse-drawn cart on metal runners skidded on the ice and clipped my leg on the way past. That's why now, Caitlin explained, I have a bad case of slanging. Come on, seniors, Mr. Johnson called. Let's all meet by the grill down by the cow. Wow, Tommy said, what beautiful weather. This would be a great day to bring out my Petrosky and fly him around. Wait a minute, Mr. Johnson said, perplexed. I didn't know you were a falconer. You have a pet osprey? No, Tommy said. Actually, he's a red-tailed hawk, and his name is Roski. Thus, he's my pet Roski. Oh boy, the bearded parabola lover said. Suddenly, Ian, Nick, and Abe came racing down the hill, caught up in one of their frequent Star Wars fantasy battles. You've seen these, I guess. Ian called out, Radwan, this is Blue Leader. Abe is bearing down on me and I can't shake him. Help me, Radwan, you're my only hope. Unable to stop when Ian turned suddenly, Abe crashed into Shayla. After he helped her up, Abe explained, gee, we were rushing to get to the meeting and everything was going smoothly, but it was like I just suddenly hit a wall. Yeah, Ian said, breathing hard. Good thing we both had our helmets on. Oh no, Nick is still going. Somebody stop him, Kurt called out. He's going to crash right into those briars. Oh gosh, Jill exclaimed. He's going to end up in the Thornton prickler bushes. No, he's all right, Kaylin said, and I wouldn't tell you a lie. She's right, said Megan. You can Seifert yourself. Now he, Sarah said, probably feels like he hit the wall as well. Yes, Katie said, laughing loudly. Somehow he miraculously survived the crash, but he's stuck way in back where the branches are thick and it's really dark. Wow, added Lauren. Looks like he really took it on the chin. I'll help get Nick out, Jane said. But my flashlight is broken, so I'll bring the lampy. Has a crime been committed here? Callie asked. If so, we'll have to track down the parcels of interest. Yes, said Rebecca, and when we find them, yes, said Rebecca, and we'll find them, even if we have to look in every nook and cranny. That's right, Declan declared. Someone must be to blame. Well, Nate said to Declan, let him who is without sin toss the first stone. A biblical allusion. Well, said Raquel, most of us try hard to obey on the rules. Yes, Megan affirmed, I try to follow the path of virtue, whether it runs straightly or bently. I'm a good boy too, Will exclaimed, at which everyone turned toward him in disbelief. Oh, come on, Will continued. I try to make no major blunders. Jen said, but wait, don't we all make mistakes from time to time? And shouldn't we be willing to forgive others who make mistakes because we know we will make some eventually too? That's what my mother always says. Oh, Jen, you're just being chum and foolish, said Kelly. That way of thinking really burns me. I can't remember the last time I made a mistake, and we shouldn't condone weakness in others or encourage them to be over-dependent on their parents' way of thinking. I don't know, Kelly, Isaiah said. Your approach doesn't ring a bell on me. I agree with Kea, who says that whenever you're in doubt, you should act your mama. This conversation is making me uncomfortable, Jessica said. I think we should shift gears. Isn't it a beautiful day? Look at all the cattle over on the hill enjoying the sun. Ooh, look at that really big one near the fence. Annie, Jessica continued, is that your Bullard Davies? Annie looked questioningly back at Jessica and said, I don't own any cows, and I don't know anyone named Davy. Besides, John said, I don't think it's a bull or even a cow of any kind or gender. I think it's a husband. LaRue, LaRue, Kara called as she walked closer. Am I late? No, Mr. J replied. You should be happy because, fortunately, you're right on time. No French students out there. Good, Kara said, and Maggie's right behind me. She sent Nellie an email invitation to this event, but I don't know if Nellie can make it. Who's Nellie? The longtime faculty member wondered out loud. I thought I knew all the seniors. Then Takuto trotted up to the elder statesman of the math department and said, Mr. Johnson, I'm confused about the dress code for this event. Do I need to wear Masuda, Will shorts, and a t-shirt? Well, look at me, the artful arithmetician said. Why not just go with a plaid shirt and suspenders? John and Thomas approached slowly, Thomas hobbling, but John walking with his chest thrust out. John, why are you strapping like that? And Thomas, what happened to you? Well, Mr. Johnson, I just got back from a 15-mile run, Thomas said, and I'm a little sore. Next, Ellie and Conrad charged up to the group, with Conrad waving his arms in the air and screeching. Gee, Conrad, Ellie said, why are you being such a wild man? I thought that you, of all people, Conrad, would be a solemn one. With the group now getting close to the cow pond, Brendan turned to Mr. Johnson. Mr. J, Brendan said, what's our plan again? I'm glad you asked, the plaid-shirted problem solver answered. First, we'll gather at the cow pond and enjoy some food from Islambek's grilling, and then we'll decide what to do about this year's senior bird block. Ooh, Claire said, can anyone tell me what time the meeting will start? Or what time it is right now? No one answered. And a bewildered senior walked away. Some of the seniors, however, had already gathered near the barbecue area. Ben was giving out free candy. Anybody want a Clark bar, he asked. No, Charlotte said, but I've got a real Jones for some peanut butter cups. Ooh, Brendan said, those are my choice, too. Just then, the student government president approached, saying, I just want to warn you guys that I've received reports about the squirrels on campus sneaking up and stealing candy bars right out of people's hands. So, Cornelius continued, if you buy a candy bar, grip it tightly so those rascally rodents don't get it. Maybe we could catch one of those squirrels and barbecue it, Marcus suggested. Then we could eat it with marinara sauce. I'd rather have one of those burgers, Brianna said, but first I need to know if the ground beef is fresh or stale. Why don't you ask the people helping Islamabad, Mr. J said. I see John and Jazriel and Sean, among others. They can probably answer our questions. Sean was sitting at a table near the grill, talking on his cell phone. When he put it down for a moment, the bearded Jedi of geometry asked, so what are you doing? Well, some people are phoning in takeout orders, Sean answered. I'm handling the columns. What are you doing, John? The jovial geometry junkie chuckled. Well, John said proudly, they need somebody to do the heavy lifting. You know, lug around the big boxes of hamburgers and hot dogs and the condiment dispensers. Sounds like an important job, Mr. Johnson said, but John, don't strahane yourself. Who's taking orders around here, the hungry arithmetician asked. I am, Jazriel replied. What will you have? What are my options, the slabbering slide rule jockey said. Oh, wait, you probably don't know what a slide rule is, but Mr. Johnson does. Mr. J continued, why do you have two wooden platforms, one on either side of Islamabad's grill, and each one with a table set up? Well, Jazriel continued, this deck here is for ordering meat on the grill, and at the meat deck, you can get a hamburger, or a hot dog, or barbecue chicken, or kielbasa, and I understand that Marcus may bring us some squirrel kebabs to cook soon, too. Mr. J said thoughtfully, are you selling more of one particular kind of meat? Well, Hannah answered, we sell more of some and less of others. Thanks, the skeptical graphing enthusiast said. Maybe I'll just go over here and see what the other deck has to offer. Oh, Mr. J, you should try one of these, Lizzie said. This is one fine burger. Just be careful, Sarah said. Mine was undercooked. I think I got a frozen burger. Another senior spoke up in enthusiasm, however. I can't decide which I like better, Tyler said. His left hand held a hamburger, and his right held a hot dog with all the fixings. That food looks tasty, Andrew said, craning his neck to see how many burgers Islamabad had on the grill. What are you going to have, Kevin? He asked, turning to the person next to him in line. Fix me 4 burgers, Islamabad, Kevin called through the grill smoke. Okay, Andrew said, smiling. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. I'll take 4 burgers, too. Another Andrew approached the grilling area and exclaimed, Gene, never have I seen a more impressive array of delicious food. I bet everything is good, Mr. J said, but I don't see any horseradish among the condiments, and I really like horseradish on my burgers. One of the seniors spoke up then. My friend's nanny puts pickled eggs on her burgers, and, Christian continued, if her nanny does, then I like it. Unfortunately, I don't see any pickled eggs on the table either. Oh, June said, I think I can help. I have some horseradish and some pickled eggs right here in my backpack. Thanks, June, Mr. Johnson said. I may get back to you in a minute, but I want to check this stuff out, too. He stepped across to where Megan stood behind the table on the other side of the grill, an array of vegetables spread out before her. What have we here? Asked the suspended number specialist. Megan replied, this is the salad deck, where you can get a salad and some salad dressing to go on it. Yes, said Julia, who was helping Megan. Our salads are really delicious, and if you try one, you will you will yum some, because our salads are so yummy. Colby stepped up to the salad deck and said, I'd like to try a salad. Yes, said Mr. J, pointing first to Megan and then to Julia. But which one will you ask to help you, Colby? That gal or her? Colby looked confused and walked away. cap. This is tricky, Rocco said. It's got both a padlock and a decknall. Mr. Johnson corrected him quietly. Rocco, I think that's pronounced deadbolt. Here, let me help you. Once they got the locks off the cooler, Brendan reached in to pull out some drinks. Ooh, he said, that ice is cold in my hands. Soon the seniors had all queued up to get food, but they disagreed about the smells coming from the grill. Saya said, I detect a delicious omerova by Islambek's grill. But Mr. J corrected her. Saya, I think you meant to say that you detected a delicious odorova by Islambek's grill. Oh, Diana exclaimed, wrinkling her nose. That delicious odor over by Islambek's grill has turned into a Nesta rank odor now. Maybe Islambek is burning the burgers. I'll bet he's been cooking too long and is getting tired. Islambek, what are you doing? Oh no, Islambek exclaimed. I wish I had left the burgers on too long. That's okay, Daniela said. I'll provide McCormick relief. Be careful, Megan said. Don't you cook too long either. As they enjoyed their food, the seniors relaxed into conversations among themselves. Walking up to Adrian, Nick said, so, I've been wondering, is your Papa Asian? No, Adrian replied, my dad's Venezuelan. My whole family is, and I'm proud to be Venezuelan. Some people say that the equatorial sun makes all the men from my country really hot. Well, Nick said, I'm from Massachusetts, up here in the frigid north, and I think guys from the Arctic climates can be sexy too. In other words, Adrian, Colemen are as sexy as you South American objects. Okay, Adrian said, the breeze rippling across his shirt, raising it to reveal his muscular torso. I'll take your word for it. At that point, Mr. Johnson decided to bring the seniors together, and he asked Madeline to help. Madeline, would you Kelly your classmates together, please? Just then, Callie came by with a video camera in her hand. What are you doing, Callie? Mr. J asked. Oh, I thought we should have a record of this special event, Callie replied, so I'm making a video. That's exciting, said Moss. I don't know if filming this event is the proper thing to do, but Rita Ron, I want to be part of it. Yes, I trust Callie, Aziz said. I know she wouldn't try to con us. That's right, Chum said. She would never sink as low as I would. And I thought that was funny. I trust Callie too, Cheyenne said, but that's neither here nor there. At that moment, Claire wandered through again. Oh, no. Why won't anyone tell me what time it is? No one answered her, though many of the other seniors exchanged knowing glances. All right, Mr. J said, the time has come, the walrus said, to talk of many things, but particularly to talk about what to do since Mr. Wooding is no longer here to lead the senior bird walk we have all come to know and love. Any thoughts or suggestions? Well, Sebastian said, why not rename the event the Senior Beard Walk and have Mr. Johnson lead it? Thank you for your suggestion, the now blushing purveyor of equations said. But Sebastian, I'm not significant enough a figure on campus to receive such a high honor. Oh, that's where you're wrong, Arnold insisted. Yours are good footsteps to follow. Yeah, Taylor said. At least you're not boring like that idiot, Doc Hammond. If he ran it, we'd have to call it the Senior Boardwalk. And I don't mean a wooden boardwalk like at Atlantic City. I mean bored as in dim and dull and boring. As a coach, a teacher, and advisor, Doc has always been boring, boring, boring. He's boring, Taylor said, in school or on the field. Taylor continued ranting, school or field, school, field, school, field, boring, boring, boring. Gee whiz, Taylor, Spencer said. No need to be rough and rude. Yes, Raymond concurred. We don't want things to get ugly. In the meantime, Claire had continued wandering through the crowd of seniors, trying to find someone who would give her the time of day. But it was as if her classmates had all agreed to ignore her as part of a joke of some sort she couldn't comprehend. In frustration, she finally threw back her head and screamed, "What time is it?" And as if they had been rehearsing this moment for a long time, the seniors all turned toward her and shouted in unison, "It's noon time!" Hannah and Cam grabbed Claire by the hand, then launched into their famous Morrison noon and night dance routine, which they had performed as contestants on America's Got Talent 2 years ago, when they had called themselves the Elm Trio. The seniors hadn't been ignoring Claire after all. They had just been setting up this opportunity for a big flash mob. And after that, everyone, including Mr. Johnson, joined in, providing a fitting and joyous alternative to the senior bird walk, at least for this year.